Welcome students. Today we are going to start with our third chapter of science, diversity in living things and their classification. Hope you must have understood our previous two chapters and you must have written that question and their question answers also. And hope you have learned also that. Now children, let's see this third chapter, diversity. Diversity means children variety. Many types of plants and animals are existing on this earth. It is very difficult for us to remember their name, scientifically their name, okay, and which category they are belonging. So there is a need for classification also then. So classification helps us to remember them and study them easily. So let us start this chapter, diversity in living things and their classification. Children, they are asking, can you recall in which spheres of the earth do living things exist? Children, living things exist, we are already seen in first chapter. Living things exist in atmosphere, hydrosphere and lithosphere. Children, together this is called as a biosphere. Living things exist in biosphere. The geographical conditions at different places on the earth are very different. Children, geographical conditions, yes or no, it is different on this earth. Somewhere it is climate is very cold, somewhere the climate is very hot, somewhere you will find only ice, yes or no. Then also the living things exist in all these diverse conditions. Diverse means different condition. Though the conditions is different on this earth, somewhere it is too cold, somewhere it is too hot, somewhere it is only ice, somewhere it is desert, then also the living things exist in all these conditions. When we live in certain condition or certain place, we adjust to the conditions there. Children, why they are able to live in such conditions? Because they are adjusted to that conditions. So, example I'll give you as penguin. Penguin is able to live in this snowy place. Why? Because his body is adjusted now. That is why he is able to live in that snowy region. The desert region example will give you of camel. Camel is able to live in the desert region because his body is adjusted to that condition. He can live many days without drinking water and food. He stores his food in the hump. So he is adjusted, his body is adjusted to live in such a hot place, desert place. Okay, so various type of living things have survived means they are able to live because their body is they have ability to adjust to that conditions. They are adjusted now, their body has accepted that condition. That is why camel can live very easily in the desert region, penguin can easily live in the snowy region because their body is adjusted to that conditions. So children, let's move further. Can you tell, are the plants and animals that you have seen all alike? Alike means all the animals and plants which you see around us in your surrounding, they are all same? They look same? No children, the answer is exactly no. Now children, we are going to see that only diversity in plants. Diversity means many variety of plants, different variety of plants are available, you can see in your surrounding. Let's see what is that diversity. Various type of plants are found in many places around us. Yes or no children, do you agree? Many type of plants. First we are going to study diversity in plants. Next we are going to study diversity in animals. So various type of plants are found around us. Some plants are like grass are short. Yes or no children? Grasses are very short. Some are very tall. Example coconut tree you take, they are very tall in height. Some plants grow underwater. You can see some plants they found only growing inside the water, under the water. Some plants they float on water. Example lotus, it floats on water. We find that some plants grow even in deserts. Cactus, example cactus, they have thorns, they grow only in deserts. So variety of plants are there. Some are tall, some are short, some grow in water, some float on water, some grow only in desert regions. Moreover, we find that there is a lot of variety in the same type of plant. One type of plant only is there children, but in that also you will find out more variety. For example, there are different varieties of rice or wheat. Children, in market different brands of rice are available. Some like to eat only basmati rice, yes or no. Some like to eat only Punjab basmati. Then many variety of rice brands are available. Rice is only one plant, but its names are different in the market, yes or no. Wheat, take example of wheat also. Wheat is of one type of plant only, but its Variety of names brands are available in the market and we purchase which we like. Different types of roses are available. Colors are different. Rose is one type of plant only, but its colors are different. On some plant, you will find color of the rose is red. On some plant, you will find the color of the rose is pink. Yes or no? So different type yellow roses are there. Different type of roses are available. Plant is one rose, but colors are different. Mangoes of different flavors are there. You eat mangoes. Hafus is very famous. Many types of langda am is there. Yes or no? Mango is there. Different type of mangoes are available with different taste flavors. Some plants grow even without stem, leaves or roots. Children, there are some plants which do not have these parts also, stems, leaves or roots. Okay, normal plants we know that they are having these parts, roots, stem, leaves, flowers, fruits. But children, there are some plants which do not have these parts, stems, leaves or roots. They are very different from ordinary plant. Ordinary plant means simple plant which is having all these parts, roots, stem and leaves. But there, children, there are some plants which do not have these parts, stem, leaves or roots. So that only we are going to study such different types of plants in this chapter. So let us study this diversity, some differentness, some variety in this chapter about plants and animals too. Children, plants make their own food in sunlight. Such plants are called autotrophic plant. Children, we have seen plants make their own food. We have seen how the plants prepare their food. They need water and nutrients from the soil. They take carbon dioxide from the air and they prepare their food. Such plants which prepare their own food, they are called as a autotrophic plant. For example, the hibiscus, pomegranate, periwinkle, etc. These are the examples of plants which can prepare their own food. Auto means which can prepare their own food. Then second part of plants which do not prepare their own food but they depend on other plant for their food. They are called as a heterotrophic plant. For example, if they ask you what are the example of heterotrophic plants, should say fungus, loranthus, dodder. These are the plants, children, they do not have, they cannot prepare their own food. That is why they are called as a heterotrophic. They are depending on other plants for their food. Then third, one more type of plant is their children, insectivorous. Insectivorous in name itself. These plants, they consume insects. They eat insect as their food. They have an opening, like we have mouth, no? So they have an opening. From that opening, if the fly insect is flying around it, what happens? It catch grasp that insect immediately into its mouth and it consume it. So they eat insects. That is why they are called as a insectivorous. Example of that insectivorous plant is pitcher plant. This plant eat only insects. That is why it is called as a insectivorous plant. So three type of plants we have studied here. First one is autotrophic. If they ask you what are the examples, you can give two examples, three examples, whatever they ask. Hibiscus, pomegranate, periwinkle. What is mean by autotrophic? They prepare their own food. Heterotrophic means they depend on other plants for their food. Okay, for example, they ask you, you can write fungus, loranthus, dodder. And insectivorous plant, pitcher plant, which consume insect as their food. So children, let's move further. The structure of plant, we are going to see now how is the plant, its structure. Plant structure can be divided first mainly into two parts: the stem, which grows above the ground, and root, which grows below the ground surface. Children, main, if you see the structure, it is two parts. This is ground surface. The part which grows above the ground, this is called as a stem, and the part which grows below the ground, this one is called as a root. So mainly the plant can be divided into two main parts: stem, which grows above the ground, and the part which grows below the ground is called as a root. The root, stem and leaves, they are the main parts of the plant. These are the main parts of the plant. From time to time, plants bear flowers for reproduction. Children, very important for plants, new plants to develop or grow. Flowers, they do the main work of reproduction. Understood? Because flowers, after reproduction, they are transformed into the fruits, and fruits have seeds, children. You know, fruits contain seeds. Chiku, mango, they have seeds. When you eat watermelon, when these seeds you sow into the soil, what happens? From seeds, new plant develops, new plant rise. So remember that flowers, they are important part of, they do the work of reproduction. Flowers get converted into what? fruits, and fruits have seeds, and from seeds new plant can be developed. So children, we are going to study each and every part in detail. The first part is flower. Children, the flower, this is the most attractive part of flower, isn't it children? On any plant, if you see the flower, immediately your attention goes. That is why flower is called as a attractive part of a plant. It is connected to the stem by a stalk. Children, it is connected to this stem by the means of a, suppose this is a flower, so it is connected by this green color part called as a stalk to this stem, okay, which may be long or short. This stalk may be long also or short also. Rose is very long. A flower has a typical color. Children, do you agree? Flower has color, its own color and shape also. The flower is an important means of reproduction. I already told you flower does the work of reproduction. So remember this, flower is most important part of the flower plant. Sorry, it does the work of reproduction. It is an attractive part of a plant. It is connected to the stem by a stalk. I told you this is the stalk. The stalk can be long also or the short also. The next part is the leaf. After flower, next part we are going to study about the leaf. The leaf is flat. Yes or no children? It is plain, flat. It plays an important role in production of food. We have seen why it does the important role in the preparation of food, because it contains what? Chlorophyll. You have studied this in previous lesson. That leaf contain a part called as a chlorophyll, which does the work for preparing the food, okay, for the plant. Leaves are of two types children, simple leaves and compound leaves. Can you see this example? They have given simple leaf is hibiscus leaf example, and compound leaf example rose. Compound means on one stalk there are many both the sides you will find the leaves. On one stalk you will find both the sides the leaves are there, and simple leaf only one leaf is there. So it is a simple leaf and compound leaf. These are the two types of leaves. The third part which we are going to study is the stem. The height, shape and size of a plant depends upon the stem. So now children, sometimes the stem's height is very tall, sometimes it is short. So it depends, plant's height depends on that only, stem only. The stem carries out the functions of production, conduction and storage of food. Children, what is the function of the stem? Stem does the work of the three things: production, conduction and storage. It stores also food for the plants, and it conducts. Conduction means it transfers the food from roots to water and nutrients from roots to the different parts. Understood children? So conduction. In some plants it has the function of reproduction. Even in some parts plants it does the work of reproduction also. It gives support. Children, whole support is depend on the plant's whole support is depend on the stem, because on stem only you will find branches will be developing from the stem. From on that branches leaves will be developed. On that only you will find flowers and fruits. So stem gives support to the plant. Understood children? Stem does three important functions: production, preparing food, transferring food, conduction, water and nutrients they are transferring, conduction and sometimes storage also. So these are the important functions of the stem. Next one is the fruit children. The fruit have different shapes. Yes or no? Chiku has its own shape, watermelon has its own shape. Different fruits have different shapes. They contain one or more seeds. Some fruit is having only one seed, some are having more seeds. Watermelon contains many seed, mango contain only one seed. The pods of beans and peas are actually fruits. Children, peas, green peas you have seen, beans you have seen, green color, okay, they are saying they are also actually fruits. Now children, next part we are going to study about fruit. After fruit is roots. Roots hold the soil firmly. Do you agree children? The roots are, where are the roots children? They are grown, they are found below the soil. Yes or no? They are below the soil. They hold the soil. Tightly they hold the soil. The main functions of root are to absorb, transport water and nutrients from the soil. From the soil they absorb water and nutrients. Okay. And the roots of carrot and radish also store food. They are saying example of root, carrot and radish, they store food. There are two main types of root, taproot and fibrous root. Taproot, children, example they have given hibiscus and banyan. Fibrous root example they have given you onion and grass. Taproot, what is the difference? The main one root is there. From the main root the branches have developed, and in fibrous root only you will see hair like structure directly hair like structures they are called as a fibrous root. But taproot, first one main branch is there of the root, and from that the small branches are developed, so they are called as a taproot. Example you can give is of hibiscus and banyan. And fibrous, directly hair like structures are grown from the main root, it doesn't have its branches, so it is called as a fibrous root. You can see onions at your home, onions and grass. So these are the main functions of the root. Two types, first taproot and fibrous root. It holds the soil firmly. Main functions to absorb and transport water and nutrients from the soil. So we have seen the structure of plant, its important parts, its function. Now what is the need for classification of plants, children? Up to now information about lakhs of plants has been collected. Yes or no, children? There are lakhs of plants. Information is collected by the department organizations who are doing the study of this. While studying the diversity in plants, they are classified for the sake of convenience on the basis of similarities and differences in their structure. It is very difficult to remember them, so that is why they are classified on the basis of two things, similarities and differences. Children, they are classified in these plants. Lakhs of plants are there whose information is collected. So how they are classified? They are classified on the basis of similarities and differences. Some plants have something same in them, some plants have something different. So on the basis of that, in their structure, what is same, what is differentness, and their organs, they are classified. So it is very easily we can remember them. So classification, its need is very important, so that we can remember and identify them easily. So till here only we will see. In next part we will see the remaining part, the who was the scientist who have done the classification of this plant, how he has classified. One table is given to you all, and how he has classified according to the height. He has classified the plants. The tall one are called as trees, medium one is called as a shrub, who needs support they are called as a vines, creepers. Okay, on the basis of their life cycle they are classified as annuals, biennials, perennials. Okay, some are classified as flowering plants, non-flowering plants. Which bear flowers they are called as flowering plants, which do not have flowers they are called as a non-flowering plants. So we'll study the remaining part in next part. So till then, here practice it very well, read the lesson very well. Till then, good.